Another evening of museum in Lotus. Evening, hi. This is the 47th episode, Mr. Pino.
Correct,
Am I right?
it's the 47th, yes.
That means we have been doing this for nearly a year, so that's really quite something. And I hope you have been following, and you'll realize that every single week we have something intense, something interesting to share. And actually, you know, and every single week we have a new story and new theory that lines up everything together that allows us that through this wonderful collections to step into, be closer with Master Yun's art universe. Of course, as I mentioned many times, these are not for sale. Okay, these items, as perfect as they are, but they're here to actually add colors to your visit to Lotus on Water galleries, and of course, hopefully, as I mentioned, to be closer to Master Yun's universe of art. So, feeling excited tonight?
I think we have some fantastic and beautiful, absolutely beautiful pieces. They are museum pieces in their own right. And next to me, there's this wonderful 16th, 17th century Laotian, extremely refined Laotian Buddha.
Right.
And this is the period which is called the Golden Age. And there was just approximately 100 years between the 16th and the 17th century when the people of Laos managed to break off from the Khmer Empire.
Right, I'm going to stop you there for a while
Yes.
because there are certain keywords that I heard, and it's called the Golden Age. Now, when we talk about age, it means timing, and we talked about it last week and the week before, that timing is actually very important. We have all the public transport, or we go by plane. All this thing is to actually allow us to be at a different destination way faster. How do we conquer time and space? We have talked about that before.
Yes.
So when we talk about Golden Age, what do you mean by Golden Age? How do we define a Golden Age?
I think by defining it in a very simplistic way, but full of character, is when the highest point in cultural, from an art viewpoint, from the way people lived and the ideals of those people in that particular period. So when I mentioned that Laos reached the highest point in their own right, where they were able, I wouldn't say to impose, but to let free their own thinking, their own culture, their own tradition.
Right.
And that wasn't easy because they had been conquered for many, many, I would say, decades, if not even century, by the Khmer. So they managed to set themselves apart, whatever they thought, and especially in Buddhist art. And what we will see tonight is actually a sample of that beauty, of that the highest level.
The whole magnificence of it, yeah.
Correct.
Okay, I'm just going to bring back again, because I think it's truly exciting, because we're going to talk about this golden age thing. And it has everything to do with you at home, because it's everything to do with the time we are in now. And this I say first before I forget, because once you go right off, I might forget. It's Tuesday. This is the 47th episode. Next Tuesday, it's an important day. And it's so important and so hectic and so busy that next Tuesday there will not be Museum in Lotus. We will recover the week after. And next Tuesday is the day that we'll be talking about all through Facebook. Even Mr. Pino, you were saying that you saw it on Facebook that I'll be talking about it non-stop, right?
Yes.
It is the day that what we call Chongyang, double yang. Are you familiar with this? I mean, you have been in Singapore for a while. Are you familiar with this festive or this day?
I was not familiar, but I do understand how important it is for the Chinese culture and for the tradition of the people.
Right. It's a day that, I think what we are presenting today, or what we have with us today, it's really a great example of what it means to be Chongyang. Because if we look at this is how these two words are actually written. If you put it in English, we spell it as Chong Yang, right? This is easy to understand, but in Chinese, it actually means this. And that's the coming Tuesday, we're having this festive. Yang, easier to understand, yin and yang, like the male energy, the patriarch energy. The word lies with this, chong means double, and repeat, like when we say 重复. So we're talking about not just one of the highest point, but a double of the highest point, which means that just by presenting a Laotian Buddha sculpture of the Golden Age, it's not enough. We need to present two of these wonderful sculptures that belong to different cultures, but they both belong to the top point in their culture, the Golden Age, as you would say.
Yes.
Then we would make this Chongyang thing more meaningful. So it is really, in terms of this Chongyang, I think we will, the sculptures that we're going to talk about today, we're going to leave it here all the way till Chongyang, maybe a few more days for us to come over here, for you to come over here to experience, to see, to enjoy, and be in close proximity of the magnificence that you talked about, how the grandeur, and how going back in the days that, oh my God, this was actually how people were, and this was an example of how the Golden Age was. This is really going to be something. So tonight, we're going to talk about Golden Age, or Golden Ages, actually.
Golden Ages.
Golden
I
Ages,
think you're
because,
correct.
yeah, because since it's going to be Chongyang, since it's going to be double yang, because if I really translate this into an English meaning, actually it means double yang. Double. One is not enough, you need to have two.
Yes.
We know it's extremely important. Many people are celebrating in different ways, so this is really a day you must be at the gallery. A lot of the clients, a lot of you are actually prepared, having your new collections and so on. Wonderful, keep that going. And today we are going to introduce two sculptures. I heard briefly from Mr. Pino. I myself, I'm very excited, especially for the one next to me.
Yes.
Deeply connected, deeply connected. And after we explain this, I hope you will be deeply connected too. I mean, after I hear about this, it is so easy for one person to just go down on their knees to actually pray or even pay deference or be respectful of this sculpture and think about what happened during the Golden Age. Am I right?
I think you're right. I think absolutely right.
This is Laotian.
This is Laotian. It's 16th, 17th century.
Right. So if you have been paying attention to Martin's Facebook, because Martin was excited as well, he didn't care whether we are going to present this today. He actually already posted on his Facebook, if you already seen what he wrote, that he did say that this is from China. And he did say the period as well. Before we go into these golden periods of these two countries, these two circles, I want to ask Mr. Pino, you're from Italy.
Yes.
Right? Singapore history is too short. We only have 55, sorry, we only have 50. No. We only have 50 over years. So, I mean, for a country like Singapore, we are very successful. Has always been up and rising. So, thank goodness, a lot of wood here, going to touch wood. Singapore hasn't really seen any sort of like, downfall per se, which is nice. So, it has always been an up and rising age. It's hard to define whether Singapore has gone through any golden age or not. Because when we say golden, while you mentioned that it's at a time that a great influence, you get to exert your own strength to the whole international community, back when America was stronger, and you compare to other times, and probably they are not golden now. So that's why you see a drastic difference. Those were the good, you always say, those were the good times. So those were the golden ages. So Singapore, the history is too short to actually recount or to consider, too contemporary anyway. Italy, it's a very old civilization.
We had the Roman Empire. And the Roman Empire conquered, I wouldn't say the world, but look at this.
The known world.
The British were conquered. I mean, you think about Bath. Just why was the city called Bath? Because the Roman brought the bath. The way that people would use the water for their own cleanliness, it was brought to England, and therefore that's the reason of Bath.
All the way, the whole Europe. So when we talk about Italy, if we recount even further, probably the first known golden age of Italy as we know now was the Roman Empire.
I would say yes.
Yeah? Before that were the Greeks.
There were the Greeks.
I think that was the only time the Greeks had a golden age.
But who knows? It might come back.
It might come back. So the Italy, we know that the first golden age was during the Roman Empire.
Yes.
And that, if I'm right, it's about 2,500 years, 3,000 years ago, that kind of thing, because it stretched for quite a long time. And then after that, the Roman Empire broke down into East and West, and then you have all this stuff going on. The second one, I think that a lot of people would be familiar. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
I think the second golden era, golden period, the golden age for Italy should be Renaissance period.
Yes, absolutely yes.
Am I right?
Absolutely yes.
Because all the biggest painters, the grand artists, the grand masters that we can name now, all the three of them actually,
yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
They're all Italians.
They're all Italian.
And they're all the founding fathers, or they definitely the significant figures. Without them, you just can't form Renaissance history.
Absolutely
we have,
not.
I nearly say Picasso, no, sorry.
Michelangelo.
We have Da Vinci. We have Da Vinci.
Da Vinci,
Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael.
And Leonardo.
Leonardo da Vinci. And Michelangelo.
Michelangelo.
Yeah. And how do you say it? Raphael? Raphael? The third one is not Botticelli, but
no.
Anyway, it's the three of them.
Botticelli is the work of art.
Right. So, but the strange thing now is that Mona Lisa is not in Italy, huh?
It's in France.
It's in France, huh?
It's in France.
Oh.
In the Louvre.
Napoleon, yeah. So that was France, Napoleon age was pretty much France golden age.
Yes.
And so every era, if it was long enough, every culture might have its golden age. And we are very fortunate today in the gallery that we are flanking two sculptures that represents golden ages of two different cultures and grand ones. The first one that Mr. Pino have already mentioned about excitedly, it's this one that is from the Laotian golden age. 16th, 17th, 17th.
16th, 17th century.
Which means that we are looking at a sculpture of the golden age of Laos that is about 500 to 600 years. Could be.
Could be.
Could be 500, 600 years.
Look at the bronze.
It's bronze, huh?
This is bronze.
And that will explain why we are here today.
Yes.
Because it's extremely heavy. And we couldn't move it.
Extremely heavy.
Yeah, if not, I would have done it at the same gallery, you know, yeah.
Look at the way the hair have been portrayed.
Right.
Doesn't it look a little bit like a durian in many ways? Now, if you look at this is
The
Unishna.
yeah.
And Unisha,
I'm getting it. I'm
Yes.
getting it after 47 episodes. I'm pretty much getting it, yeah.
Unisha is almost part and parcel of the head attire. And when you look, there's an inset here. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh.
And this is a stone.
Ah,
I think it's a semi-precious
oh,
stone.
there we have it. That means on that, we have seen many Unishas,
Yes,
right? We have seen
Yes.
the one from Chingsan, we have seen a lot of Unishas.
yes,
But this is the first one that I see that actually has a small gemstone.
correct.
If I'm right, I can describe it as like lavenderish gemstone. I can't define what it is, but there's a gemstone there.
It's a gemstone. Look at beautiful is the flame. And this flame, again, is totally different from the previous representation. It doesn't have the urna,
Right.
which is the third eye.
Yes.
Let's look at the ears, particularly elongated. And if you come, I mean, this is actually bronze, so you will be allowed without any problem to touch it. And you
feel
will
it, yeah.
feel under your fingers that the elongated ears are actually at the base. The lobes are protruding towards outwards. And then you look at the auricle, it looks like a snail.
Oh, yes, it does.
It looks like a snail. Look at the face. Magnificent. It's so reminiscent of the common Laotian people.
Right.
You look at the triangle nose, look at the downcast eyes, look at the beautiful lips, is definitely in meditation. Look at the jaws, look at the beautiful neck, is sitting straight.
The whole composition of the sculpture, it gives, you might even say that the serenity comes from the whole balance, how geometrically it actually feeds a triangle, the shapes, the lines, the curves, it all comes together. It seems simple, but it gives that feeling of serenity and majesticness.
I think throughout the world, the best artisans who were actually artists in their own right would create the most beautiful, beautiful sculptures. And this, in my opinion, for Laos is one. I mean, when we go back to the Renaissance, we see some beautiful marbles. We see some beautiful and meaningful expression. And look at the expression of this amazing Laotian. Even the patina, this sort of vert gris patina, is only because of the passage of the time. He's wearing the Sangita, and this is exactly what the monks wear. It's one of the three pieces. And if you see from the back, you see the sash. Now, when you look towards the navel, we see a repetition of this semi-precious stone.
I see, yes. There are two of these
one
gemstones.
And
One on the Unisha,
yes,
the wisdom,
the wisdom
the other actually at the navel.
at the navel. And look at the way it's been crafted. This is, it's cast bronze. He has very elongated fingers. Again, something typical of the period for the Laotian. Look at the sole of the foot. It's on the leg. Now, he's actually in the Bhumi Spasa position, and is actually with one hand on the lap The other one, the right one, is
touching the ground per se. Am I right?
touching the earth.
Am I? The Pumipasa is the one when one hand is touching the earth. I especially like it because the fingers somehow are extremely long for that to happen. Yeah.
Extremely long.
Right. It is the one that we mentioned several times.
Several times.
To dispel the evils and to chase away the Maya, all this.
And at the same time, it's asking the earth to witness its enlightenment. So this is a very common composition, mudra, we would say. But again, look at the elongated fingers, typical
very elegant
of Laos of this period.
Very, very elegant.
What is extraordinary is the base on which he sits. Now, I have never seen a sort of three legs, tripod.
It's a tripod.
Tripod. This is the first time, and you would see the multiple layers. He's very tall on this layer. What does this mean? The base, the tallest the base, it's the high regard the Buddha is in the mind of the believers. It's also the respect of the faith, and it's basically the high ideals of Buddhism which are represented by this very tall, beautiful Buddha.
I'm very intrigued by how actually there are two gemstones.
Yes.
One on the Unisha, the other at the navel, as you mentioned, because it's a slight little touch, but it actually adds so much elegance and so much, even I might say, power to it, right? I'm interested about the one at the navel. If I'm right, I don't know whether this stands in Buddhism the same, but the navel has been always considered the center of the universe, right? So it has one that's talking about the wisdom, which is the Unisha. The other one, which is here. A lot of Asian cultures do believe that here it's where the second heart is. So
second heart?
Yes, yeah. I mean, even in today's world, that you said that if you take care of your digestive system, it's actually the second brain, you know. So this is the part where, when we meditate, we actually sink the qi all the way here. It's supposed to mean something significant. So there we have this that represents an example of the Laotian Golden Age, one of the suns, S-U-N, we are talking about today. So this sculpture, extremely heavy. That's why we are doing tonight's episode over in this gallery. Difficult to move, even though the platform is on wheels, because if I can roughly guess, 300 kgs?
I think close to 300
kgs. My friends, we are talking about a sculpture that's about 300 kgs. And unlike the one that you have been gilding gold on, the one that you've been gilding gold on, the Chengshan Buddha, it's tall, you see. So when it's tall, you can actually, you can lay it down, 4 men can actually carry it. But because this is sitting and is brought with a tripod stand on it, it's difficult to actually lift it at all. And you mentioned something curious. I mean, yeah, it's on a tripod, but weird, huh?
Weird. I've never seen. I may add my own take on a sculpture of this level. This is a museum piece. I have been to Laos. I've seen some beautiful, beautiful sculptures in museum, but I need to be honest, I've not seen anything of this level. And of course, being here, having looked at it repeatedly, having examined and studied to a certain extent, I'm in complete adoration with this sculpture. One of the two. When we get to the second one...
The second one is even closer to my heart. I mean, I would say that this piece is going to be here for quite a while because it's extremely heavy. And of course, a representation of a golden age. Friends are here. We have a friend, Elizabeth Chua, who I think she typed Italian. Buonasera e tutti.
Buonasera a tutti. Good evening to everybody.
Oh, okay. Buonasera.
Buonasera a tutti.
Buonasera, yeah, okay, yeah, there we have, yeah. Oh yeah, Elizabeth Chua said good evening to everyone here, and after that she typed in Italian, buonasera a tutti.
Buonasera a tutti.
Nice,
Grazie,
yes, gracias,
altrettanto.
yeah, tanto, yeah, okay. Laura is here, so I just saw Angeline popped in. We are talking about Chongyang. Even Master Yun's antique collections, there's a Chongyang meaning to it. When we talk about Chongyang, Yang means the highest order of numbers. I never tell you why is next Tuesday Chongyang. It's because it's the 9th of the 9th lunar month.
Right.
9th of the 9th lunar month. So number 9 for the Chinese is actually the highest number. After 9, they don't know what's going on, so they go back to 1. So number 9 is the highest. So 9 for the 9th lunar month, it's when you have 2 of the suns happening.
Right.
So it's double yang, double sun. We just talked about a piece that represents the golden age of Laos. Wonderful. First time in seeing that they have a precious gemstone. They have a gemstone on the initial and the navel. The one next to me, this one next to me, you must come and see. But unlike the one that is from Laos that is cast in bronze, this one you have to be quite gentle about it. Lighter, but magnificent.
Magnificent.
What about this piece that I have next to me?
I mean, in this, for justice, as I said that this is the Laotian sculpture, a museum piece, I equally have to say the same thing with regard to this Waning. She's marvelous. There's poetry. She's not speaking, but in my opinion, when you look at her, you look at the face, that serenity. And in my opinion, this is the end of the Ming period, beginning of the Qing. I may even suggest a particular date, Kangxi.
This was, you're saying that this, quite wood for sure.
Wood, 100% wood.
And if you look at it, it's actually much larger than the one from Laos.
Yes.
That it might have been done in the Kangxi period.
Yes.
1600s. 1600s, early 1700s.
Correct.
Thereabout, yeah.
Correct.
Wow.
If not even earlier. I said the end of the Ming period, beginning of the Qing.
Right.
Now, imagine the block of soft wood and the amazing carver who worked on this piece. Starting from the expression. She's calm, she's composed, she's sitting, look at the back, at the spine is straight. Her head is slightly tilted to the front. She is with the downcast eyes. Look at the nose, is so refined, and look at the lips. The lips are like the heart, and they're very, very tight. She emanates, in my opinion, can I use this expression, spirituality?
Right.
Even a non-believer, how can that person not be taken by a representation? And this is faith, the Bodhisattva, who decided to stay on earth and to save the people, the sinners. Look at the headgear. So complex. I mean, the passage of time.
It would have been more elaborated, probably.
More elaborate.
Here, first part that is here, somewhat of a top triangle. Something was here, but passage of time has actually eroded. And here, this is where the hair is. There should be something more here, and then it extends more. So it's huge. Yeah.
It's huge. Usually on this headgear, in many, many cases, I've seen the Buddha Amitabha.
The mentor.
Yes.
Might have been here.
It could have possibly been. Of course, if we just analyze the sculpture as is, I don't see it. Look at the hair, beautifully organized. And the hair are go towards the back, neatly organized. You look at the elongated ear, again, very much like the Buddha, means abandonment of anything that is rich, is to be with the people, to provide them the support, to provide them with the serenity that they required. Now look at a garment. When you look at a garment, you see that there are multiple folds, and the folds are irregular, and they were meant to be irregular. It seems to have a little belt, and I think it's a textile belt, and because the string has been tightened, that you have this irregular folds.
Yeah.
Then around her neck, you would see this amazing, amazing necklace, full of details, beautiful. You can see that her garments basically covers her shoulders, and it wraps partially the forearm. She is in a beautiful position, which is the lotus position.
Right.
Padam sana, which means that the two soles of the feet, you can see them, and this is the way that, and she's comfortable. Look at her hands. I mean, that posture is very significant. It's significant because it's about gracing the people, taking away their preoccupation, and giving them the hope. Now, what else can I say? I mean, I don't think I have words that can describe it better. And I think you just have to feel it. Have the time to come it. Absorb what I have and I am absorbing. And you feel in some way fulfilled and peaceful.
It does take the magnificence of the sculpture. It's undeniable and it's obvious. I think even over the screen, it would be clear that as a wooden sculpture that's lasted, if we really take it as like 1600s, even 1700s, it would have been 300 years at least. It's not bronze, it's wood, mind you. So weather erosion, we can still see a great presence of this sculpture here. And I mean, definitely, it came, as Mr. Pino has mentioned, it might have been in the age of Kangxi, or if it was a bit later, maybe the son Yongzheng or the grandson Qianlong, which what we know now, the period is called Kang Qian Sheng Si. Something is like the grandson and the grandfather, the whole 100 over years is one of the most prosperous times of the late feudal periods in Chinese history, 1600s all the way 1700 plus, close to 1800s before that. So that whole period, Kang Qian Sheng Si, it's super prosperous, it's super crazy prosperous, that in Qianlong's time, the grandson, we talked about England just now.
Yes.
I forgot who was the king of England back then. It's definitely not Victoria's time yet, so they wanted to trade with China. So they sent an emissary over to China. It was Qianlong's time, so probably this was when the Guan Yin was born. And Qianlong said, Qianlong gave that guy, I think 300 taels of gold, 300 or 30 taels of gold, I forgot, and said that, go back, tell your king that I recognize him as king, but he must recognize me as emperor. Just look at my land, I have everything, I don't have to trade with you. It was so crazy prosperous back then. So it was definitely a golden age of China in the Qing dynasty.
The height.
And this Guan Yin right beside me, even I feel a bit of chills when talking about this. This was actually born out of the greatest period that we know. Sometimes it's really about, okay, probably only in this age, therefore we have the chance to create something like that. Because the timing of the period would actually affect what artifacts it produces, right? For instance, now, there are artists now. We call it modern art, or sometimes they even call it postmodern art. I don't know whether is it the internet age or what. The art nowadays, they don't go for beauty. They don't go for serenity. Sometimes they create something that it's totally ugly just to shock your senses. Agree?
Look at the digital art market. I mean, do I believe in it? I don't, but only because I like to look at something unique. I like to see something that has been purposely made. Something that is digital, maybe it is art, I don't know, but I have a lot of doubts.
So the key thing is really every single period would produce its own form of art.
Yes.
Its own form of artifact. And as we delve into these artifacts, we get a closer look of how that age might have been. But times and age, golden age, they don't just come like this. It's not as if like the clock has turned and therefore, oh, now it's a golden age, and without any interference, it will be the golden age. No, golden age is born when there are great people, there are great men who do something about it and make it a golden age.
Yes.
I'm not too familiar with Laos history, but there must have been someone who actually said that, okay, from this point onwards, we are going to break free from the Khmer influence.
Yes.
And therefore, we go independent, let's say. Like how Lee Kuan Yew led Singapore to independence. Even when we're talking about the Italian Golden Age, Caesar, the first Roman emperor, Julius Caesar. And if we say that you can't go through Renaissance without talking about Leonardo da Vinci. You can't go through Renaissance without talking about Michelangelo. You can't. Raphael, you can't. So these are the key people. They sort of created the period, and people follow. The same, and the Chinese are clear about this, and that's why they named the period after the three emperors, or mainly the first and the last, Kang Qianzheng, Kangxi and Qianlong. It was them that made it into a golden era. So what we are seeing that, yes, sculptures from the golden era, the people are prosperous, therefore you can see that there are jewels on the Buddha sculpture. You can see that giving you a sense of serenity, and also if you notice that the face of the Guan Yin, it's actually a bit wider. That is an absolute representation of how prosperous the nation was. The jewels and the little details and so on. Even the fingers, even though not because of weather, because of time, not perfect, but you can see the way that it is super elegant. Only in the prosperous times would someone be able to do something like that. But it is also not just about the period, but the people behind how this golden age came about. What we are looking, it's actually embodying the spirit of Kangxi and Qianlong himself. Because without them, there will not be the golden era. There we have.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so this is going to be in the gallery for quite a while because I love this piece a lot. I won't say quite a while, at least until Chongyang. If you come here next Tuesday, there won't be MIL, a museum in Lotus, but there will be these two sculptures that are here. And you should, on this occasion, that it's really about the top, the paramount, the most highest energy, and come over here, light incense, have your new collection, have your painting, and so on, and feel their magnificence. Am I right? Yeah.
Spirituality.
Spirituality. We know that we talk about people who create golden ages. It's always about people who create the golden times, right?
Yes.
And this is not the first era of Chinese golden era. They were before, as like we talk about Roman Empire, we talk about Renaissance, and so on. In the Chinese history, there were quite a few periods that it's golden era as well. For instance, the start of the Tang Dynasty, about 670 that time. We talk about the Kangxi period, we talk about the Han Dynasty, of course, and so on. Today, after all the revolutions and so on, probably China now is on the way going back to its golden era, catching up very fast on its GDP per capita, and you mentioned that it's really about exerting the influence around neighboring countries and so on. It's happening at the same time as well. And with it, we also see that the idea of fengshui, once suppressed by the Chinese Communist Party, is coming back on the same stage. And of course, to talk about the rise of fengshui again, we cannot bypass Master Yun. if it was people who make golden ages, it would be Master Yun who make feng shui into a golden age again. And therefore, he is actually the founding father of feng shui arts, feng shui jewelry, feng shui calligraphy, and feng shui paintings, and so on, and the many different awards that we know. It's we are actually at the start of a golden age, which is wonderful. And I realized that this camera is actually looking at this, and right behind me there's a poster. It's not even supposed to be man in the camera, but there's a poster here that is something that's very unique. And I think there's something that spells that how lucky that we are in such a golden age. This is actually a poster that's not done by us. It's actually done by Nanyang Technological University of Singapore, the top university, top 1 or 2 university in the whole Asia, the 10th or the 11th in the whole world. We know about this. And next Friday, Master Yun is going to NTU, invited to NTU to give a lecture. I mentioned to many people that this is the first time that a feng shui master is invited into the halls of a tertiary education institution to give a lecture. And the topic, it's about feng shui.
It's about feng shui.
It's about feng shui. Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't invite you because it'd be totally in Chinese, so I don't know. I don't know if you can take it. It's actually called. He's going to talk about the philosophy of prosperity in feng shui paintings.
Right.
And it's a lecture. It's a lecture. So it's a university course. The public can attend. The alumni can attend. The school, the graduates, undergrads, they can attend as well. The prosperity, the philosophy of prosperity in feng shui painting. I mean, this title itself already sounds like a golden age title, because yeah, and it's actually Master Yun who is bringing this to this height. So we probably are in the golden age of feng shui.
I think we are.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and definitely through all these collections, we can understand more. And you really have to come here and experience it. Now, for this talk, if you haven't signed up, you have to sign up. Go and look through my Facebook. We put a QR code there, we put a links there. Just go and sign up. And if you're keen to actually travel with us, it happens on the Friday, 7th October, 3 p.m. I tell them that NTU can be a maze. All the universities, they have so many buildings, it can be like a huge maze. So actually we have transport over here to bring everyone to the compound on that day. So if you're keen to take the transport, you must let us know in advance so we can get the space for you on the bus. It's going to be a very prosperous bus as well, I think. Yeah. Indeed, yeah. So today we are in the whole surrounded by items and artifacts of golden ages. It's we can't say, but you really have to come here to experience it, the whole magnificence. And you also realize that the champagne that we are drinking today is a bit different. It's still La Homme Perrier, but it's not La Cuvée, but it's the Blanc de Blanc. We translate Blanc de Blanc as Bai Zhong Huang, which means the king of the whites. Actually, it means whites of whites, but it's actually the best of the white. So this is a new cuvée by La Homme Perrier, of course, our sponsor. Of course, in the age of Chongyang, we have to see something special, feel something special, be with the feng shui art that is special, and of course, drink something that is special as well. Am I right?
I think you are.
Yeah? After this, we have to choose the lucky draw people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have to raise the question.
Of course, yeah. Okay. Now, I have here the winners from last week. So I'm going to ask the question first.
Yes.
It's very simple. Should it be simple? Yeah. It should be simple, huh? And the question of today is that these two sculptures came from two different countries. Both belong to their golden age. Probably the difficulty is to actually say that which countries did these two sculptures come from. You need to have two of them in the same comment to get it correct. Different country, a different country, two countries. Which two countries did these two magnificent sculptures come from? Put them in the same comment and you get a chance to win. Not difficult, huh? Yeah.
It's not difficult. What they have in common, they're museum quality pieces.
Yeah, museum quality pieces. Even the one next to me, definitely museum quality piece. Because if you compare face to face, and if let's say this Guan Yin stands, I'm just saying, if this Guan Yin stands up, it's a human size.
Human size.
Because if you look at it, it's the size of our face, and the hands as well. So yeah. Which two countries did these two sculptures come from? Two different countries, both from their own respective golden eras. So put them in the comment. Two, you can't just say one, you have to say both of them, all right? Happened around the same period anyway.
Yes.
Like 3 people.
This is the first.
First one, let's take a look. I see Stephen Le, I see Tong Chiang, Andy, and friends over here. So I was asking which 2 countries. You've got to put the 2 of them together in the same comment, all right? First one, Geraldine Xia. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You just saw her over the weekend, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Second, Nicole Lee. Congrats.
Congratulations, good luck.
And the third one, the last one for tonight will be Lee Ah Noi.
Congratulations, well done.
Yes. So there we have bask in the sculptures of golden eras. And I hope that while we are looking at artifacts from golden eras of bygone past, we should also be feeling fortunate that we might be in the golden era of how feng shui is. It's not every day that everyone gets to be in a golden era, and now we have the chance, right? So if you haven't signed up for next Friday's talk at NTU, Nanyang Technological University, do so. Go to my Facebook, go to the company's Facebook, check out the link and go forth. Because in time to come, when they talk about, oh, there was, when feng shui art, feng shui calligraphy, and feng shui painting is widely studied by scholars and so on, widely collected all over the world, then they will say that, oh, you know, there was this first lecture about feng shui arts, and it happened then, in 7th of October, 2022 at Nanyang Technological University. If you go, you might be able to experience it. So,
and there will,
this is significant.
There will not be a translator who provides an immediate explanation.
Immediate? not that I know, yeah.
What a pity. I would have attended otherwise.
Yeah, not that I know. Yeah, I'm not sure whether we will make it into small little episodes after that, but for those who can, then try to go there and experience the whole thing yourself. Not, it's not an everyday thing that you're going back to the university to attend a talk, attend a lecture, and definitely not an everyday thing that you see a feng shui master go into a university to lecture about feng shui arts. So that is really something. We are really in the golden age of how feng shui is. Cheers.
Cheers.
So next week, no museum in Lotus. We are going to all celebrate Chongyang Festival. We'll come back the week after with more artifacts. Cheers.